Hey everyone. So I just put in a huge JetPens order and it just came in the mail. So I thought, what better way to open it than to hang out with all of you and just kind of show you the kind of tools that I usually order from JetPens. This isn't so much like a tools video, but just kind of like examining some of the tools of the trade that I use and how I kind of order my art supplies and try new things. And there's a few new brush pens that I'm trying in this video, which I thought you just want to see. And I do this every time I open a JetPens package, so I figured why not just bring you along. So let's get right into it. Alright, so I have my big old FedEx bag here, and we're just going to go through exactly what I got on JetPens. Let's check it out. I'm just going to go step by step here. So I've got this. I can't remember what this... Oh, okay, I know what this is. Here are the refills for the... Oh geez, here we go. These are the refills for the Pigment Pocket Brush Pen. I love this thing. I use it every day. You'll notice that mine is very ratty. I use this for a lot of texture, dry brushing. Sometimes I'll use it for fine lines, and you'll notice it still does maintain a nice fine line. Not great, but good enough for in a pinch. I go through these refills, which unscrew, and these are those, and they're about $2.50 each maybe, and it's great. Some of the best ink I've ever used. So let's put that over there. Oh. So sometimes on JetPens I will just try new things, and this is a like Japanese style brush, and I just have always wanted to try one, so I bought one. It's just as much about experimentation of new mediums for me when I go onto JetPens, so anytime something might look interesting, I'll check it out. That's what this is. So I don't know how this is going to perform, we'll see. Alright, next we have a few things. Here is a Kuretake. I'm not sure what this is. Hold on. This is a Kuretake brush pen, which I just really wanted to try. On JetPens, they called it an eyebrow, like a eye brush, like eyelash pen, or for maybe specifically drawing eyelashes. Let's give it a spin here. This is another brush pen experiment. I like that packaging. There are hearts on it. Whoa. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that, but... Oh, hold up. That's very tiny. Let's see how it... Whoa, holy crap. This might be good for like really small faces that I still want to get brushy with. Oh, I will probably use this. Okay. Well, I don't know what it's actually called, but it's a Kuretake pen. It's like specifically for like inking eyelashes. And it definitely does that and more. Gonna have to be very careful with this one. I'm definitely gonna be inking with this tomorrow. That's very exciting. Never used that before. Here is a refresher of the Pentel Pigment brush pen. So this is just, it's got a fresh tip on it. And I'll be using this very soon. Here is a thin line. I don't know if thin line is the brand or not, but I really like these brush pens because they are very dry. So the flow in a lot of my brush pens, like the Pentel Pocket Brush Pen, which I use every day, is very, very loose. It just comes right out. In fact, I'll show you right now. You know, just very wet. Sometimes too wet. Here, much drier. You also notice it's not as dark, but it's just a lot easier to control. It'll be interesting to do an eraser test. See how these hands lay, because it's not nearly as dark. I guess maybe that was just the first mark of the ink just coming out. But this is very dry, and it works really well. That's the Thin Line by the Acacia Corporation. Very exciting. Alright. So, here we've got some more staples of my kind of drawing tools. These are just like refills. I'll go through them one at a time. I think most of you will know this one. This is the Zebra brush pen. This thing is amazing. I use this a lot. I also love it when it starts drying out. That's really fun. You'll also notice that it's not too inky, like it dries out if you go too fast, which I really like. I really like this thing a lot, and I use them almost every day. Another thing I like to do with these style of brush pens, which have the felt tip, is I like to ink my building lines with them. You'll notice that when I do lines, I like to give varying line weights and make it a little wobbly. This is because I actually really like artists that, you know, hand draw straight lines with their brush pens or brushes. You see this, like Paul Pope does this a ton just with a brush, you know. But I just really love still using a ruler for some things. It gives me that sense of stability. But then, you know, with the flexible tip, it just has a really nice variation, which is not hard to do with these pens. Speaking of straight lines, the Pigma calligraphers. I'm a big fan of these. I think these are fantastic brushes. Brush pens, I guess I should say. Let's see. I'm going to zoom in a little bit, actually. Hold on. So these are awesome. This is the 2.0. I like how this ink, you can kind of control how inky it is. If you draw on the tip, sometimes it won't even come out at all. But if you draw on the side, you get a very thick calligraphy line. Now, I will use this for faces a lot. If I just really want to get a sharp look to a face. I also will use this if I am hand drawing weapons, specifically like boxy kind of things, like a gun. Like I'll do this on the page, because if I'm drawing a bunch of soldiers or what have you, I'm not going to pull out a ruler for every one. And this just kind of helps me establish a sense of, you know, it looks geometrical, a little more geometrical when you draw with these style of pens. So I have I got a 2.0, a 3.0, and I believe I tried a 1.0, but I don't see it yet. Here's a Zig Mangaka Flexible. Oh, that's kind of nice. Don't love it, but it's still nice. I can tell this tip is going to go very fast. One nice thing about the zebra brush pens, the gray ones that I was just talking about, even when these start drying out, they still maintain their tip quite well, in ways that the Kuritakes do not. The Kuritakes have a tendency to start falling apart if you're a little rough with them. And I am very rough with my art supplies. So it's a fault of mine, but I do buy my supplies with that in mind. Here's the Pigment Calligrapher 1.0. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, I could definitely see myself inking with this. You know, part of the thing is, like, I'm inking so small for most of the time, you know, just with my drawing style, drawing on a piece of 11 by 17 piece of paper with the amount of full figures that I fit onto a page, you know, I can't afford to have art supplies or brush pens that are going to have a really wet effect. It has a tendency to make things look messy, and sometimes that's okay, but sometimes it's good to have a break from all that messiness and kind of deliver something a little bit more uniform. It's a give and take. All right, what else we got here? Here is a Cree Pen. This is another brush pen that I wanted to try. Let's just check it out. It's very sexy. It does not have a fine tip. It doesn't have a tip that's coming together yet right now. That bothers me. Don't like that at all. But we'll see what happens when we put some ink in. Now, I heard this was not quite as runny as the Pentel Pocket Brush Pen, so that's why I wanted to give it a try. So we'll cover that, give that a few minutes, and move on. So another one that was just another one that I had not tried yet. The Uniball Signo gel pens, roller balls. These, in my opinion, are the best roller balls as far as covering black ink goes. I've used a lot of different brands, and this is the one that I feel just has the most opacity, which is what I use it for. You know, gel pens are not great for flourishes. They kind of have a tendency to poop out halfway through. You'll notice that kind of dotting, which is fine for an effect like rain sometimes. But honestly, for the most of the times that I'm using this kind of art supply, I'm just looking to make little changes to my line art. And go back in. And if I really need to, I can get rid of some big chunks. Now, it will gray out a little bit, especially if you erase it, but that's okay because it's so easy for me to pull out and make little changes on the fly. I am the kind of artist that has trouble getting into a page if there's something wrong with it while I'm working on it, so I definitely have the tendency to fix as I work. I don't make mistakes and then go back and fix everything at once. If I make a mistake, I immediately fix it, so I can feel good about the page through the entire process as much as possible, and these help me do that. Alright, here we've got the Tombow brush pens. We have we've got a firm one, that's the blue one, and the black one is a little more flexible. Let's check them out. One of my favorite things about this is just opening the packages. It's so satisfying. And I love how these come with like little rulers for something. I'm not sure what, but maybe for Japanese lettering. Not sure. This is a great pen. It's like for fine control. It does not get much better. Much better than the whatever that Kuretake brush pen I used, which I did not really like. This one, not a big fan. This one though, whew. Look at how dry that is too. That means I'm really going to be able to get some controlled lines. If I have to draw the edge of a battle axe, something like that, I will usually use something like this because it's so dry. I can really control it a lot, and also at the same time, like let's say I have to draw like a, I don't know, a roundabout or like a highway. These are great for architecture, and specifically architecture that you want to have some life, right? Because if you just use a micron here or like a pen liner, it's just gonna, everybody has a different style, but for me it just makes things look a little too dead. I like going back in with a micron and adding details after the fact. That's really fun for me, you know. But as far as the actual shapes of things, I very rarely will I use a micron. Love this. One of my favorite brush pens. I'll be using that tomorrow. It's good because I was just run out. So that's the firm one, and here is the Tombow that is a little bit more flexible. Now I like these a lot. I like how much of an organic feel they have, but you can see they're a little more wobbly. But I do really like these. I don't know which one I like more. You know, these are very comparable, the Zebra and this. The Zebra is a little wetter, which I don't like. So there's that. This one is a little drier, which I like. This has a tendency to lose its tip very fast. Faster than the Zebra though, so you know, I'll buy a few of these, I'll have them around, and I will use them if they are within my reach, and I do like them. Sometimes I'll travel with these as well. Not nearly as fun for me though as the blue one. Sorry if it's called something different. That's the only way I know it. Here are some more of the refills. I buy a lot of them at once. In fact, I'm just going to put them up where they go up here. Oh, and here's a little shout out. This is by my buddy Nathan, who a few years ago drew me some fan art of Murder Falcon and gave this to me at a signing at the Hall of Comics in Massachusetts. Just wanted to tell Nathan and his dad, sorry Dad, I forgot your name, but Nathan, who actually drew me this card. Thanks, bro. I treasure this thing. It's literally right next to my desk, hanging up right above my picture of my wife and kid. And sorry, I just knocked my camera over. Okay, let's keep going. Almost done here. And last but not least, the Ain erasers. These things are stuff of legend. I love them. I am a habitual eraser loser. I lose all my erasers. I also got a blue one, which I don't know how it's different, but I just thought I'd try it. These are awesome. I use the red ones mostly. Let's just do a little experiment here. I just see how the ink handles this getting erased. So one nice thing about this eraser is it really handles heavy pencils really well. So I use 2B pencils, pencil lead, so that we're just gonna, I'll just erase here. And I'm using Strathmore 500 plate, so really smooth Bristol. And you'll notice, you know, here's the zebra that's barely erasing at all. Here's the Tombow. Look at that. Just going and going and going. A lot of these, it just does a really good job of not killing the lines. Part of that is the paper. Big part of that is the paper, but if your erasers suck, I mean, it's gonna hurt. One thing that I don't love about the Pigment brush pen ink is that it's just more prone to erasing than the Pentel pocket brush pen, which is like this thing. So this ink, they're different. This ink is really great and very solid and will stick no matter how many times you erase it. This ink is a little more fragile, but it's so easy to use, and I hate having to dip my brush in ink to fill out a big black space. I'm usually not erasing over anyway. I just default to this, but it does come with its caveats. All right, that's it. So that was that. I hope you enjoyed that process of me kind of going through the new toys that I've got from Jet Pens. I'm including a link to everything from Jet Pens that I opened in the description below. I don't make any sort of affiliate money from Jet Pens at all. Just wanted to help you guys find the tools that I use a little easier. I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you next time.